How's it going? I'm Henry James from Robert John the Wreck, and you are watching United Rock Nations.
Amis de United Rock Nations, nous sommes en extraordinaire compagnie avec Robert John and the Wreck, et plus particulièrement avec Henry James, lead guitar du groupe. How are you, Henry?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Here in France to support this.
I'm very happy to be here.
This new album, Shine a Light on Me, Brother.
Yes. Yes.
So, what's your feeling about this new album? Your personal feeling?
I feel I'm obviously happy. I'm happy we got to put it out, and I'm very, very happy we get to actually tour in support of this one. I feel a little bit biased, I guess, towards this one because there's actually a song that I wrote on this that I just played it for one of the guys, and he was like, "Man, that's really good. We should pitch that to the band." And everybody was like, "Yeah, that's really good. That should go on the record." And it's called Desert Sun.
Yes.
It's the,
Desert Sun. Yes,
yeah, so that's one that I wrote, and so I have a really, I guess I'm more biased about this record just because it has a song that I wrote years and years ago, and just was playing it, and he was like, "Man, that's really good. We should put that on the record." And so
great.
So I like this record especially because of that.
So it's the first time you have a song on the album?
That I personally wrote. Yeah. We took it and we made it a Robert John the Wreck song, but as far as like lyrics, structure, chord, melody, it was my song, which is crazy because usually we write everything together, and this was one exceptional thing. Yeah, and very personal, right? So I'm like very like that's my song, and everyone was like, "No, we need it on the record." Okay.
So listening to the new album, I have the feeling that it's more soul than the previous album.
Okay.
What do you think about that? Do you think I'm agree or not with that? It's more soul music.
Yeah, there's a little bit more of the feature of the backup vocalists, more backup vocal heavy things, and for me there's less kind of guitar fireworks on the record. Exactly. I'm definitely in a more of a restrained role. Even on my own song, I'm really pulling back and letting the song speak for itself, and I believe on the last record there was at least a lead or a solo for me on every single song. On this one, that's not the case. There's a couple that don't really even have guitar solos on it.
Now, how do you explain that musical evolution?
It's just the way we work. We try to not force things, and we try to be democratic, and we try to make the decision of what fits best on each record, and what's going to be the best sort of most cohesive group of songs to put together on the record, and this is what worked out, and that's just how it goes.
And there's no frustration?
Well, I mean, I'm always throwing in ideas, and maybe it's just not the strongest song immediately because sometimes all it is a guitar riff, and everyone goes, "Man, that's really cool." But we have this other one that's more of a song, and they'll go, "Well, we'll get to that one," and we never get a chance to get to it. And I wouldn't describe it as frustration, but it's a little bit of like, next one, we'll get them next time. You can't take it too seriously because it's at the end of the day we're trying to pick the thing that is going to bring the most people into our music, and the best way to do that is a song. That's how you get people involved is the songcraft.
Absolutely. So as the lead guitar of the band, tell us more about the contribution you put on the songs. Just before you talk about democratic way of writing songs, so tell us more about that.
For my role?
Yes, your role and
I mean, it depends. Again, it depends on the song. If you talk about, say, like let's say like "Shine a Light on Me, Brother," the title track.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had a lot more to do with how the guitars sounded on that, how the way the chords worked. Someone came in and we had the rough idea, and we didn't really know how the song was going to feel until I actually picked up this exact guitar and started playing it the way it was, and then sort of the arrangement sort of more came together, and we were like, oh, okay, now we know that this is more kind of this rock thing, and has that kind of vibe. It varies. I feel like to a degree, at least as a guitarist, my contribution was maybe a little bit less on this record, but maybe more as a songwriter.
Absolutely.
As opposed to the last record. The last record I had a lot more to do with guitar riffs, guitar solos, things like that. There was a lot more, hey, Henry, do you have a thing for this? And then I would go, oh, yes, I do. Here's this thing. So it just changes, and that's the way things are sometimes. And some, it works out the way it's going to work out, and I think this has worked out fine. And
absolutely. It's a great album.
Thank you. Thank you.
You just played, it's drop D.
This is open E.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. This guitar is my open E slide guitar. I usually have I dropped it. Slide, Butterfingers. Slide on my pinky, and so I usually just play all. There's 4 or 5 songs in our set list on this tour that I use this for, and just feels good in that tuning, and I need to use it for a few songs in the set, and it's open E.
Tell us more about your influence as a lead guitar.
Sure.
When you begin.
Oh, when I started.
Okay. When you were young.
Sure. Well, so actually,
who inspired you to pick a guitar?
Yes. So actually, the Green Day American Idiot album came out.
It's punk.
When I was
punk rock.
Rather young, and I got really into Green Day, and I loved that record and Dookie from Green Day, and I would watch all kinds of Green Day videos, Billy Joe Armstrong with his Les Paul Jr., and I thought that was the coolest guy ever. And a couple years later, I'm jumping ahead. And so I wanted to learn how to pick up a guitar, and my hands just wouldn't.
Nice.
They couldn't. I wasn't old enough. I wasn't coordinated enough to get. And I just got frustrated, and I said, I don't even want to do this right now. And then a couple years later, my dad showed me Eddie Van Halen, Eruption. He had a greatest hits CD of Van Halen, and the first song is Eruption on that CD.
It's the first album.
It's not even the first album. It's the greatest hits, because on the first album it's Running with the Devil.
Exactly.
But on this greatest hits CD, Eruption's the first song. And I heard that for the first time, and I was like, you can do that on a guitar? I didn't even know you could do that on a guitar. And so I went, I'm gonna learn how to play guitar again. And
with Gibson?
No, I had like a OLP. It's like a cheap knockoff Strat with flames on it. A bright red guitar with like flames on it. Because I was like 12, and they were like, "Oh, he's 12. He likes flames and whatever." And it was a stupid guitar, but that's what I learned to play on.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad that my parents were supportive enough to get me that for Christmas, to and also get me guitar lessons to learn to do it. That obviously changed my life.
You took some lessons.
I did take some lessons for the first couple of years, and just helped me understand different things about not necessarily playing guitar, but even like music theory. My teacher was a graduate of the Berklee College of Music in Boston.
Berkeley,
He was a jazz composition major, but he did guitar lessons. Yeah, and he was very good at assessing, figuring out what I needed to learn. Amazing teacher. Is a guy named Jonathan Sosin, Sosin, Jonathan, in Los Angeles.
Because from Green Day, Van Halen, to that rock you play, there's a lot of difference.
And so I guess later on, when I was getting into learning how to play guitar, I got more into Jimi Hendrix and Led Zeppelin and those things. And Jimi Hendrix is still my favorite, even though some might argue he's not technically the greatest to some degree. Technically, I'm talking just technically in terms of what he can technically do, but to me it hits me in the soul every time.
Absolutely.
And he does. I hear recordings I've never heard of him before, and I go, he could play that too? What? And he's still my favorite as cliche as that is, he's still my favorite. And later on, obviously, Lynyrd Skynyrd, Allman Brothers, B.B. King, Albert King, Freddie King, Stevie Ray Vaughan, all the greats. Even metal, Iron Maiden, Opeth.
Opeth?
Yeah. I actually love Opeth.
It's very far from the
yes,
music you play.
Very, very far. To be honest, my first actual rock concert was Opeth in Hollywood.
Okay.
And I got into Opeth early on in guitar, and so even the death metal, I love what they're doing, and I think to a degree what they're doing is sort of an extension of maybe what Deep Purple did. I get that similar energy to it, and obviously you love
it's more
Deep Purple
progressive.
too. Yeah, but it's also vintage. It's vintage sounding and modern. They have the organs on their songs and the heavy guitars, but the way the riffs are composed, the vibe of the riffs are very throwback. Like they have like a 70s thing to them, even though it's modern sounding record maybe. But that's what I, to this day, after listening to other bands in that genre, because even outside of them, I love that style of music. I need to listen to that style of music sometimes just to like get the demons out, and I love that. And they have a very unique thing going on. And they're still one of my favorite bands actually.
Right. Let's come back to the new album. Shine a Light on Me, Brother.
Yes.
The title is a very positive title.
Yes. Yes.
Can you tell us more about?
Well, I think when we were writing this record, we weren't necessarily in lockdown, but we were sort of
the pandemic.
You don't know what's happening next, because Last Light on the Highway we wrote before everything. We recorded everything before, and so when it happened, we were about to release it, and we're like, should we still release it? And we're like, we should just release it. And so on this record, we're in and out of, lockdown, restaurants are closed, okay, restaurants are open, but you have to wear a mask, okay, you can do that. All these sort of things are changing all the time, and we all just sort of decided, well, we're just going to work together, and we're going to be in our own little bubble together, and we're going to write a record, because we can't tour right now.
Absolutely.
We have nothing better to do, and we're going to take that risk together and just get together and write this record and do it. And
so you're playing on the same room? Or
yep, all in the same room. We would
during
rehearse.
the lockdown?
Yeah, we would rehearse in the same room together every week. We'd just go, we'll keep paying attention to each other and pay attention to ourselves, and if we feel bad or something, we get tested, and luckily it worked out, and we got together, we wrote the record together, and we went into the studio and recorded it. And I think the title is even maybe unintentionally, it was just sort of what the song was at the time. We might not have even realized, or maybe it was subconscious what the message was, and it was just the way it worked out, writing wise, and we congregated on this idea of that thing, and that's just what we decided should be the title track, because it felt like the most climactic maybe for the way of the record went,
Absolutely. So I've selected 3 songs that I want to talk about.
Okay.
Ain't No Young Love Song.
Okay.
Is one of my favorites.
Okay.
It sounds like John Cougar, Tom Petty song.
Yeah.
Tell us more about that song.
So that one, I had not that much to do with that one really, as far as composition.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. That one was it was already written. We got in the rehearsal room and they said, we have this song, and I guess I must have been busy because we would have these. We would have our weekly rehearsals, and we would also have a weekly writing session that was more relaxed, where we would get together and write. And they came into the rehearsal after one of the writing sessions that I wasn't at, and they were like, we have this song, we just need a lead part for it. So I just gave the lead part, and wasn't much of a solo. The original solo I had for it, we felt like was too many notes even. So the solo that's on the record is like after 3 takes of less notes than that. So it's very, very, very restrained from me. I had a lot of ideas for that song that all got shot down. So it's not the solo I wanted, but that's okay because it's the song. You know, it's about the song.
You play solo, but you play also rhythm
Yeah,
during the songs.
Yeah. So play rhythm guitar as well.
Absolutely. Hurricane.
Hurricane.
So this is it's acoustic song. It's a lot of emotions. On that.
Same thing. Same thing.
Can you tell us more about the lyrics or not? Because
I didn't write it. I had very little to do with the lyrics, but I listened to them and I understood that because it resonated with me, kind of what the message was, and I felt like I had been in that situation before. And initially, I think the slide part that I play on that, I play like a slide guitar part on it, was initially a vocal part on the demo, and I was just playing what I heard on the demo, and they were like, "Oh, that's really cool on guitar. We should just do that on guitar." And I got to play a couple of guitars on that song actually. During the chorus,
you played the acoustic also?
Not the acoustic, but all the electric guitars. There's probably 4 guitars in that song actually that are, including the acoustic, but electric guitars is a 12-string.
Yes,
and a tremolo guitar and the slide guitar.
Slide guitar, yes.
And it was cool to just sort of take a step back and kind of just create more of a textural thing rather than rocking out solo, which I enjoy almost just as much. Just creating sounds and feeling out what is going to make the song sound tasty, sound good.
There's a progression on all.
Yeah. Production wise, you know, if we put this guitar here and put this guitar here and put this kind of sound on it and add it to the chorus and then, you know, sound design, I guess, in a way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the last song I selected, it's Everyday. We love the groove of that song.
Yeah. So that was an idea that our drummer Andrew actually brought up to me.
He plays guitar also?
He plays everything. I mean, we all play multiple instruments in the band.
You play also drums?
I play drums.
Bass,
I played drums in a band for 2 years actually before I was in Robert John the Wreck. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And same with bass. I played bass in a band for about 6 months as well, and
keyboards also.
Not keyboards. Not keyboards are the thing I didn't do. But I've always been a singer though too. I always sang before I even played guitar. I was always singing as a kid.
Okay. So you're multi-instrumental.
Everyone in the band is. Everyone in the band plays a few instruments at least.
So on this song, it was the drummer.
Yeah, Andrew.
Andrew, exactly.
We were on a break at rehearsal, and he was like, "Hey, I have this idea, like." And I'm not sure what it's going to work on, but I have this idea for this rhythm thing, and so I helped him work out the shapes of what he wanted to hear, and basically it was just me playing with the idea he had until he went, "Oh, that's it," and then kind of taking what he heard in his head and helping get it out in real life, and then we got it out, and he had the whole song, but he just needed help getting it out because he plays guitar, but it's not his main thing. You know, he knows how to play things. He has ideas for it, but it's not like his main thing. So he asked for my help with it, which was cool of him to do that. Takes a lot of humility to do that, you know, rather than just go, "Oh, I'll just do it myself." You know,
there's a special groove on the
yeah. So he had that idea, and I sort of took it and played my version of it, and it worked out. And then mostly on that one, it was cool to play the different lead breaks, and I was really happy with the tone I got on that one. I think the way that the guitar tone on those solo breaks turned out really, really nicely, and that was played on an SG that I unfortunately was not able to bring with me. It's a Gibson SG 61 reissue from 2004, and that guitar actually has pickups that are made from a guy here in France, Hepcat pickups. That he made for me, and he sent them sent them to me in California.
And why did you choose that pickups?
What's up?
The pickups you choose in France. Why?
He just wanted to send them to me. He built them, and he said, "Hey, I want to send you pickups."
Different sound from them?
No, I mean they sound like old the old original Gibson PAFs, which is what I
okay.
liked about them, because they don't make them exactly the same way they used to. But to me, it
Okay.
felt like I was playing a much older guitar
Okay,
than
understand.
I had, and I feel like anyone who plays this style of music is trying to
To have the sound.
get back to that sound
Yes.
of the late 60s to 70s.
Absolutely.
And back then everyone was playing, back then they weren't old guitars, they were new guitars back then, but they, you know, things have changed.
Absolutely.
In terms of how guitars are made since then.
Exactly.
And there was something in that stuff back then, the way the instruments were made back then, that was just iconic. And there's definitely a difference. At least it's very subtle, because a guitar is going to sound like a guitar no matter what. But there's something magical about some of that old stuff.
Exactly.
And if you can even get a little bit of that, then you can get some of the magic, I feel like. And maybe it's just a placebo effect or hype or something. But I think there's at least a little bit of truth in that.
So let's talk about Desert Sun. Desert Sun, it's your song.
Yeah.
And you wrote the lyrics also?
I wrote the whole song.
So tell us more about the
years ago.
lyrics.
It was just, you know, I had been with this girl for a little bit. It was very casual, and it's the same thing of you know, you really like somebody and they like you, but they're moving. She was moving, and we kind of had a falling out, and I was just still mad about it when I wrote the song. You know, it's been years now, so I almost don't even remember it. But at the time, it really upset me, and sometimes you have to get that out. And at the time, I had to get that out, and so she moved away, and I just said, "Say hi to your stupid desert sun for me. I'm not going there. Get out of here. Go away." You broke my heart.
That's the meaning.
Yeah,
Of the lyrics.
that's what it was. But you know, it can be interpreted different ways, and I encourage anybody who hears stuff to discern your own meaning from it, because it means different things to different people. And I still listen to that song, and I hear kind of different interpretations of it. You know,
Okay.
you can interpret different things out of different things, and I think that's the beauty of it. You know, I think regardless of what my intention of the song is, if you can discern some meaning of it and it can help you in your life, do that, because it's just words, and they can mean different things to different people depending on what place they are mentally where they're hearing them. You know.
So it's now a long time that you haven't played live, you know, for the pandemic. So tomorrow you will play here in Paris.
Yeah.
So what can we expect from the new shows?
Well, we're kind of doing a greatest hits thing. We're playing a lot.
How many songs you will play from the new album?
We will probably play, I'd say 3 from the new record, most likely. Sorry, excuse me. I'm getting a little tired from talking.
Shine a Light on Me, Brother.
Yes, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, and we'll play a lot of things from Last Night on the Highway.
Oh, yes.
We were able to play a few shows in 2020
Yes, but unfortunately-
in California, before things got completely
before,
shut
yes,
down
okay.
again. And then in this year, everything opened up where we live in California back in March. So we were, as soon as March, late March, we were playing 2-3 shows
Okay.
a week, every week
Oh,
in
okay.
California. So we played a lot locally and in a few other places in Arizona or in different parts of California.
Yes.
So we've had a lot of time to
Practice
and play in front of our audience there, but this is a different audience, and so we're playing something from, you know, different things from the Glory Bound record,
Yes.
and Good Life Pie after that, and the self-titled record, and my first record with the band, Take Me well, maybe not, maybe we aren't playing anything from that, but Last Night on the Highway and Shine a Light on Me, Brother are featured pretty well.
main songs.
Yeah, we're trying to pick things from everything,
Okay.
and pick the songs that are fun for everyone to play.
Absolutely. We will be there tomorrow.
Cool.
To see you, so.
Looking forward to seeing you.
Thank you very much,
Of
Harry,
course.
for all the information about this
Sure.
Shine Light on Me Brother.
Of course.
On vous le recommande, bien sûr, il est déjà sorti. Shine Light on Me Brother, Robertson and the Wreck. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Hope you the best for this.
Thank you
new
very
song.
much, man.
Thank
Pleasure
you.
to be here.
Bye.
Yep.